That's it.
Alright, we're going to talk about Unit 16 today, which is revision or change notes. One of the questions in there that you're going to get is, why do we have revision or change notes? For historical data. Historical data is going to be the answer on that one. We want to keep track of what we've changed. Now, we had this print last time on Unit 15, and remember I told you that this 1/8 inch dimension was wrong. It's actually 3/8 of an inch from here to the center of that oil hole. Now, we got to think about this. This print has actually hit the floor, and how did it get out with it being wrong? Well, JDK drew it, and GLG checked it. The approved by person just signed off because it's seen it had both been drawn and checked. So these are the two people we got to be blaming. Now, sometimes mistakes just happen. The print gets out. We have to fix it. First thing we would do is, where I used to work at PAT, we started out when the print first hit the floor. We would have a print that would hit the floor, and it would have a -0 revision on it. That means this is the first print that's ever come out. It's never been changed. Alright, then the next thing you would do, it came out to the floor, we need to make a change on it. Well, it would come back in, and they would change the dimension within the CAD system. We don't have one. I'm just going to mark something out. I'm going to mark out the 1/8, and I'm going to make it 3/8. Alright, now automatically when we change this, it's going to go up a revision level. So I may come in, and where I used to work, we would go from a 0 revision level, we'd make it a -A revision level. Okay. Another thing that you could do, you could actually put a A up here and put a circle around it. Now you could have a 1 or a 2 or whatever. It just depends on what company you work for, how they handle it. Had a -A, I could come down here on my print and put a A, referring to that, and I could say dimension 3/8 was 1/8. So that's telling me that I changed this dimension. It used to be 1/8. And then the date, you could put 10/5/12, for instance, and then put your initials. Now I've got record of what the dimension was, when it was changed, and who changed it. And I also have a -A on my print. This means if somebody's out on the shop floor, they've got a -0 print, and they call the engineering department and they say, you know, what is the latest print number revision level for A14241036? Well, they go and they look and they say, well, it's up to a revision level A. If it's up to revision level A, that means I don't have the right print. I need to make sure that I get the latest print. So that's a good way to keep track of what revision level you are on your prints. Now, we had this happen a whole lot. I worked in a metal stamping industry. We were always tweaking numbers to make the part run in tolerance. So we were always changing dimensions. For instance, if this print right here, if I had a shaft that this pulley had to go on to, we actually went out, we made the pulley 1.25 inches long, we put it on the shaft, we put it into the customer, whoever's getting the part back, puts it on the shaft. The V-belt doesn't line up with whatever it's lining, the other part that it's going to line up with, and it liked the 1/8 inch. Well, we may need to take an 1/8 inch off of this part. Had to face another 1/8 inch off of it. If we were going to do that, we could come in and say, alright, this dimension here now needs to be 1 1/8. I can just get rid of that one, and then I can come in and say, alright, this is revision B. I'm going to put B and put dimension 1 1/8 was 1 1/4. Put the date, initials, and there I'm good to go. I got to come back and put a -B down here on the print. That is the way we handle revisions and changes. Now, it's important that we always know where we've been, because if we tried it with 1 1/4, it didn't work, and we now got it 1 1/8, we either know to go back to 1 1/4 if that's what we want, or we know not to go back to that because it's been that before and it didn't work. So we keep historical data by keeping all of our changes. Now, another thing we did where I worked, we changed prints so often. We had all these change notes and revisions on a separate sheet because we didn't want to fill the whole print up with change notes. But that's just, different companies handle this different ways. That's just, that's the gist of how companies will handle it, though. It'll be something close to that. It's just people will have different ways of doing it just by slight amounts. If you have any questions, just go ahead and email me. I think everything on your